about Savannah Guthrie. And you know, a zillion people go missing. It's so hot in here. Every year. But it's rare. Just the idea of your 84-year-old mother vanishing is a lot, too. And I think we've had so much, not that this isn't negative news, like controversial news with ICE and shootings and this and that and the other. It's like something that everybody can be like, this is horrible. This is not political, though I did see one dumb post where somebody was trying to make it political, which is nuts. I mean, what do I even know what Savannah Guthrie believes? Or did you see the TMZ deal? So I just was kind of checking in on the latest news. And the latest thing I saw was the New York Post had photographs of the crime scene. And there were blood droplets out on their like tile front steps in the walkway. And then TMZ was reporting that a ransom note had been submitted. But the problem with the ransom note, I would think, is how do you make sure a ransom note is legitimate and not just some Yahoo from Edenton that sends a ransom note, and it's money in Bitcoin, which is not traceable. So 2 stations in Tucson received it for millions of dollars. And I mean, I know Savannah Guthrie has a lot of money, but they say with ransom notes, once police are involved, like the deal with a ransom note typically is you want the ransom note before police are involved, you know? And if there was a ransom note, why would there have been blood at the scene that night? Homicide investigation. And she needs her medications. I think they were really pushing that she needs her medications. And all older people need their medication. They probably make it sound more dire than it is in hopes that the people that took her will start getting nervous, like, oh, what if something happens to her? Whatever. They check the Bitcoin address. It's a legit one they are reporting. Pomp is covering it now on News National. Why wouldn't they have sent it to the Today Show? Oh, that's an interesting question. They need proof of life. I mean, I don't know how you wrap your mind around that. Do you remember with the little fella that was kidnapped? Oh, shoot, now I'm not going to be able to remember. They kidnapped him and dropped him and he died, like maybe falling out of the window. The pilot's son. Can you give a small recap? So on Saturday night, Nancy Guthrie, I think her last name is Guthrie, I think Savannah's, that's her maiden name, went out to dinner with either one or both of her children. They dropped her off at home at about 9:30, lived in a very nice neighborhood, but no sidewalks, no street lights in Arizona. Lindbergh, thank you, Lori. Lindbergh. And dropped her off. The next morning, she was supposed to go to, I believe it was early church. She didn't go. And her friend called the children and said, hey, Nancy wasn't at church this morning. I'm concerned. And so one of the children went over, then the other one came over, and they looked around. They found her phone. I don't know if they saw the blood. The blood droplets were super, I guess you would have seen it. I guess if you were looking. But her phone was there, her medicine, her pocketbook, you know, all the things. And I don't have an 84-year-old mother. I have a 76-ish-year-old mother. And she don't leave that phone or her pocketbook anywhere. Now, if something happens to me, you'll be like, she left her phone in her pocketbook, and be like, well, that has nothing to do with anything. She leaves everything all the time because she probably lost it. So the ransom note is, I was just reading about that. And yes, there's several outlets reporting that this ransom note was submitted to 2 news agencies. But the FBI is saying, we're just assisting. We're not going to comment on that. The sheriff's office, no one is saying, yes, there's a ransom note that I can tell or that I heard. Surprised she lived alone. It never would occur to me that if you were in pretty good health and shape, that living alone could be a bad idea for this kind of thing. There were security cameras, but there was an empty frame at the front door. And so I don't know if that means somebody took the frame out. I don't know what an empty frame means. A ransom note about an hour ago. Yes, but I don't know when the ransom note then was sent. I do know that it couldn't be getting any more media attention than it is. I bet it is someone who helps her at home or one of their relatives. She also had a pacemaker. Someone who helps her at home. Huh. I don't know. It could be somebody. It would have to be somebody that knew who she was and that she was related to someone. Someone took the camera, so that must be what it means. My mom's 85. Phyllis, I didn't know your mom was still alive and lives alone, which is awesome. It's awesome. But it is a concern. The camera on the front was missing. Okay, well then that's what it meant. The frame was missing. And then the neighbors, lots of people had cameras, but so freaking dark. Yes, thank you. The pacemaker was deactivated at 2 a.m. See, I knew if we came together, everybody would have enough information that we would have a whole new thing. You are gorgeous. Kiss my ass. Because that's a lie. Pacemaker deactivated at 2 a.m. It's a concern. I mean, yes, mentally, cognitive, very sharp, very sharp. They said just in the last few minutes that her pacemaker has stopped pinging. Were they in the house when she got home? I said the same thing to my mom this morning, but I wouldn't think so, because they showed that there was, the person did not have a key. So there's that, because there was forced entry and it happened in the night. And why would you, if the person was in, there clearly wasn't forced entry before she went inside, The Apple Watch lost signal of the pacemaker because it was out of range. My dad is 91 and golfs every day. My mom's 86 with Alzheimer's, and they still live alone. Well, that's impressive. That's impressive. It's rare that when they're like, we need prayers, it's rare. I feel like sometimes that's just like a go-to phrase, but I stopped what I was doing upstairs. I was cleaning out my linen closet, and I was like, Lord, please keep Nancy Guthrie safe and let her family find her. It takes 1 second. And I think there are people that think, well, what does prayer do? What, we don't know. Does it save somebody? Not always. But does it hurt? No. And, there's been research on prayer. And they've done studies where they prayed for people in the hospital. And people didn't even know who was being prayed for them. And the people that were prayed for, totally randomly, did better than the people that weren't prayed for. I've met Savannah Guthrie twice, in fact, at the Today Show. And, I mean, not like we're friends or anything, but I think we all just feel like, okay, we sympathize with this. We feel like this, except for the terrible, terrible people on YouTube. It makes you see how people take other people. Because I swear, then they come on YouTube and make these terrible statements. Who are these children? If these are people's children, I tell you what, another thing to talk about is Roblox. And 2 children were kidnapped. They met somebody online on Roblox. Coming from someone whose children played Roblox, I tell you what, watch the frick out for that Roblox. Watch out. People need to learn compassion. Wonder why her? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, I think we just think, gosh, this could be us. This could be our mom. This could be our family. We could be minding our own business. Yes, Haley Busby also met a man online. She was 17, and her body was found. I love Jelly Roll. Has a good testimony on there. I tell you, yeah, that Roblox business, and it's always been a little bit sketchy. I did a TED Talk, and one of the guys I did the TED Talk with was, he was addicted to porn as a teenager. And he really talked a lot of light about that. And I thought it was so interesting. And he said it came from playing these video games, like in his room late at night. And I said, okay, I at the time had, young teenagers, and I was like, what can I do to make sure this doesn't happen to my children? And he said, well, the biggest thing you can do is not to have your kids have a gaming system in their bedroom or a television in their bedroom. Now, granted, they have their phones, but no gaming system in the bedroom. And I stuck to that. I was like, yep, that ain't happening. The gaming system needs to be in the middle of everybody. So it's right down there in our family den. Why does anybody think she was targeted? Well, I guess the idea is that if it was just some random bad person, and let's say it was a caregiver, mention, oh, I take care of Savannah Guthrie's mom, and I looked online, and online it says I'm worth like 10 million. Like, I'm not, FYI, just in case anybody's wondering. We ought to go take her. Do you remember? I mean, it's not a person, it's dogs, but Lady Gaga's dogs, and it was like somebody that took them, ransomed the dogs. And it was just kind of a crime of opportunity. Kids watch porn on phones because it's easy to hide. Yes, they do, and they can. Or you can have no phones in people's bedrooms at night. $2,500 reward was for any camera footage in her area, like the Ring doorbell. Oh. Yeah, I think people are really eager to help. The sheriff said they hadn't gotten any video that was good. That was tonight's like 6:30 news. The last update I had watched was that they had not gotten any footage that was helpful. But there was DNA at the scene, and they were testing that. And I would assume that they're going to get that DNA back, I would say within 24 hours, you pick the wrong person, would be what I would say. I made an intentional prayer for her and her family. Yeah, I mean, I just think, that's something we can do. And you can say, they said the DNA was hers. Well, tonight on the evening news, the sheriff's office said that they had not gotten the DNA back. That was at 6:30. Oh, important because her pacemaker not pinging on Apple phone means nothing more than she is too far away from the Apple device. Okay, well, that's good to know. So I wonder if there was more DNA. No street lights and the camera was dark. Yes, no street lights. Sun's out, pancake for auntie. I mean, who in the devil are these turds? Yeah, I agree, Tina. Ruling out someone in her home when she arrived. Well, I hope she's found. Wouldn't there be DNA of anyone who'd been in the home? Yeah, but I guess then you'd, I mean, like in my house, I should be able to tell you everybody that's been in here, you know? Why didn't her children see the blood in her house that Sunday morning? I don't know if they did or didn't. I don't think we know for sure if they saw it or didn't see it. I did see the blood on the front steps. Never heard of a ransom note going to a network. Yeah. I think having someone in your family missing has to be the worst thing of all. Worse than knowing, and I think John Walsh, that's not me saying that as somebody who's never had this experience, but John Walsh said the not knowing is what gets you. And families that have had their children missing for years, I don't know how you come up for air. You know, like how do you do anything and not fall back to that? It's really a lot. Like whether you go out to lunch or dinner or you try to celebrate somebody's birthday, you're always thinking the Ring doorbell had been removed before the police arrived at the house. Yeah. Anyway, lots of love and prayers for the Guthries. And tonight at 9 p.m., I think, Eastern, I'm going to be on Kate Swinson's YouTube page, Finding Cooper's Voice. And I don't know what we're going to be talking about. Well, we'll probably be talking about autism. And I am going to be talking about, if she asked me, the fact that Amos, my 12-year-old with autism, ate spaghetti last night. He has not eaten spaghetti since he was in a high chair. He is really into this new thing where he's trying food, and it blew my mind. So much that I didn't even tell my subscribers this morning. And yes, we are planning the next Tales weekend in April, and really looking forward to talking more about that and having people sign up to come to Edenton for the weekend, 3rd annual Tales weekend. Peace.